Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as always on these lovely, illustrious Thursday nighttime drives from Staten Island out to the borough of Queens. King of Chaos here, boss man Joey B. Say hello, Joey.
Hello, I'm sure.
Miserable bastard. Very glad you can join us. If you are watching this just like the boss man, go right ahead and share this. Bring more people in. Comment, like, share, question, whatever you've got, throw it at us. Let's make this more, let's make this interactive. As always, it's always the best when you guys are throwing stuff at us. We're throwing stuff back, and everybody's having a good old grand time. What's going on, Scotty Cerriti? What's going on, Tim? How are you guys doing? Hope that you've had a lovely week so far. Zeno, glad you can join us as well. I think the most important thing that we need to hit right off the bat, straight away, boss man, let's talk about our friend who called you last week. Anybody who was watching last week or listening from last week knows that somebody had called the boss man, got the number from a flyer or the fun station somewhere, and called because he was apparently, quote unquote, being initiated into a biker gang and needed to find a bunch of wrestlers to give him a pink belly. So, hello! Anyway, he called the boss. He wanted to make sure a bunch of wrestlers would be there on a Tuesday to come in. That Tuesday this week happened. Joe, what was the update on our friend?
No show, no call, no show. It is the last I've heard of him was when same thing you guys heard on the radio show. That was it. I don't know any biker gangs that initiate people by sniping.
No, that doesn't exist.
And listening to the guy in the fucking thing, I don't think he was going to be part of any biker gang either. You know?
Yeah, no, it sounded to me way more like it was a guy just trying to get his rocks off and get beat up by a bunch of dudes.
Well, that's one, but
it might have
been
it might have been Sneaky Pete Garcia from Gleason's. We were talking about him last week beforehand. Yeah. Unfortunately, we have nothing to talk about with you guys on that regard because that guy never showed up. Unfortunate. Sad. Apologize that we couldn't get anything good going on that, but it's completely out of our hands when people want to call up, make some false promises, and then not show up as part of the deal.
I just think maybe we were ribbed. I don't know. Maybe he gave a good little fucking Q&A thing, but
I don't think we were ribbed at all. I think this was somebody legitimately trying to get their rocks off. He probably was able to jerk off after that, thinking of you and other people beating on him, and that was it. That's what these people do. If you're a female pro wrestler, I'm sure, I doubt that anyone in here is a female pro. I'm sure there's plenty of female pro wrestlers who get DMs or, I doubt there are numbers out there, but DMs and shit like that, and they know how it is. It's a fucking power thing. Talk to me, fucking feed into this, okay, goodbye, then you never hear from these people because they fucking used you for what it is. In fact, I think, Jordan Grace is either doing a book or a blog of the DMs that female wrestlers get, which I think is the greatest thing ever, because the amount of creeps that fucking find these people.
I would like to know that, because obviously I'm not a female. Right. And I don't get these DMs, so I'm curious to see what kind of DMs they do get.
Oh, dude, it's some of the stuff that she posts, and I know it's the more, basic. Boss is making a phone call. So, yeah, I think it's tremendous. And in terms of other stuff, I know that there are full-on, Twitter accounts or either Instagram accounts that are solely based around shaming the creepy dudes from online dating. They're just you should see some of the shit that goes on with these fucking dudes and people getting put in their place. I love that shit. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, no, seriously, I think Jordan Grace is gonna make good money off of that, and all the power to her, because I think it's fucking lovely.
These only DMs that she's gotten, or that a lot of
I think she's trying to compile from all the female wrestlers she knows, but a lot of it is her stuff, which again I think is fucking magical. That will go in my bookcase or bookshelf rather when that comes out. Very excited for something like that. I know I've explained on other radio shows one of the, I guess, responses or DMs that I had gotten from a guy who consistently wanted, I think his fantasy, because he kept putting it out to me, was, oh, you look big and strong. Do you think that you could squeeze me up into a little ball and bounce me around like a cartoon? And I'm sure I was
said, yeah. How much?
Yeah, I want to feed into that because they keep coming back, dude. Because I did the first time, like I didn't know what his deal was.
That. My back is shot. Jeez,
you're
my
thinking
arm is too, man.
You're thinking reality here, like you could actually squeeze somebody into a ball. You fucking whack job.
I'm at the CJ.
I'd rather just fucking slap the shit out of him.
No, he's fucking sandbags everybody. That fucking.
Yeah, I don't know how you could be 120 pounds and be a
heavier
sandbag.
than fucking anybody. Heavier than fucking Chris Benny.
Oh my god, was throwing around people today. Just fucking. We do this drill as part of the cardio that we do, which is like a gut wrench, standing, lift up into the other side. Just pretty much switching where the control on the gut wrench is. And I was doing that with Plug, who, you know, is over 200 pounds and gets up super easy. CJ, on the other hand, is unbelievable. Best rice. Chris Benny wants to know what the best rice ball is. Where can you get the best rice ball, Joe?
Where? In Stone Island?
Anywhere.
I don't know. I'm not big on rice balls. You know what? Good rice balls? Remember that place, Val's, that we used to go to near the warehouse?
Yeah.
They had really good rice balls. I think they're selling that place, actually.
I've never had rice balls from there.
I did.
I don't know. I'm not much of a rice ball.
No, me neither.
person.
But they did have good rice balls.
I'll tell you the.
I don't like somebody they sneak them fucking peas in there.
I like the peas. I like the peas.
Fuck that shit.
Of course. Yeah, it's green and somewhat healthy. Just straight grease in my rice balls. Anyway, off that subject. Let's move on to some other interesting things. So I was having a conversation with some people this week, and I would love for you guys to hop on in, throw everything you can at me in terms of what your opinions on things are. I might have said it here before. I know I've said it to you before. Who I feel the most underrated wrestler in history is.
Oh no.
Little Guido, Nunzio.
Underrated?
Underrated.
The most? No.
I think he's the most underrated. I'll tell you why. He's a guy who I've never seen. I've watched a ton of his matches. I've never seen him have a bad match. Always really good. Always makes his opponent look great. Never anything even subpar.
A few guys.
Right, but again, who is ever fucking Little Guido? No one mentions him. That's why I think he's super underrated. Candido gets love all over the place. Are you crazy?
Stevie Richards, I think, is underrated.
Stevie Richards is certainly underrated, but Stevie Richards still gets a lot of love.
So is Guido.
No, he doesn't. I've never heard anybody talk about fucking a Guido match as something to point to. Plenty of people point to Richards at Barely Legal. They point to Stevie Night Heat. They point to his work with Victoria. Nobody ever brings up how fucking entertaining Guido was. I don't think there was ever a point where Nunzio was not great in the ring or entertaining as fuck. I can't think of any point at all. I certainly think Stevie Richards deserves to be at the top of that list as well, though.
Yeah, I really think Stevie Richards should be at that. Because even though he didn't make it to WWE or WCW, he was really wasted. But WWE, he was never more than a mid-card. And I think he could have been a little bit, I think he's a great athlete,
I think he's a fantastic talent. I mean, ridiculously talented.
Underrated. Gangrel, I think he's underrated.
I think he's very underrated. I certainly think Gangrel. At the same time, though, there are plenty of Gangrel matches you could point to. It was like, all right, that was a bit subpar. I can't say any of that on anything Guido did. Always made his opponents look like $1 billion. And still to this day does all of his fucking spots.
I'm trying to think. So you put me on the split.
Someone says
sometimes, and I have no time.
Alex Shelley. Alex Shelley is another person who I think is super under. But at the same time, people constantly talk about how influential and great the Motor City Machine Guns were. So I wouldn't put him up there because he's still getting all that love for the MCMG. Did you see speaking of MCMG, did you see the PM that I sent you on Instagram? I sent you a fucking DM on Instagram.
When was this?
Today.
No, that wasn't on my account.
Real jerk.
I've been on the Warriors account all day long.
Real jerk.
Go
into yours and check it ASAP because this thing's going to get deleted. It was from somebody's story, and I think it was All-Star Lou wrestling on the train. Dressed as fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin. I swear to you. I thought
why is it going to get deleted?
It was either because it's in a story, so it's only there for 24 hours. Anyway. I'm seeing Spike Dudley.
No. I never thought he was good.
No, honestly, I've seen some really good Spike Dudley. I've been watching a lot of ECW lately. I've been seeing a lot of fucking good Spike Dudley matches.
You tagged me or you sent me it?
I sent it to you in the DMs. Joey B. Gangrel got better as he got older. I would agree. Spike Dudley, Crowbar. You know,
it's on there.
Yep.
John.
Deleted, you jerk. It was somebody dressed up as fucking Steve Austin and somebody dressed up as Triple H, and they were running fucking spots, and they were sloppy and terrible, and it looked like Lou. And I was like, it's sloppy, terrible, it's gotta be All-Star Lou.
Was it really him, though?
Dude, if it wasn't him, he's got a fucking doppelganger.
You want me to text him and ask him? You were also on the train? Which one was he?
Austin.
Was he bald? I mean,
he wore a bald cap.
Oh.
The other guy was wearing a fucking wig.
You want to call him on the phone? He's a corrections officer.
No. Hey, what's going on, Zach? Let's see what else. Mike Awesome. So, here's my thing with... Alright, so cool. Here's my thing with Mike Awesome, though. Again, I've been watching a ton of ECW lately. I also just listened to the Invasion episode of Something to Wrestle With, Bruce Pritchard. And he makes the point, he goes, Mike Awesome just couldn't get over for whatever reason. Like, he wasn't a super charismatic guy. He did a lot of really cool shit, which worked for his fucking 8-minute ECW matches.
Never into Mike Awesome, ever.
I don't know, man. A dude of his fucking muscularity doing fucking springboard dives.
Okay, great, but he was just something about him that I just thought was so boring.
Yeah, I get it, because he was boring. He was a mulleted fucking muscular dude. That was it. With, like, the most basic ass name ever. But, like, again, for his 8-minute ECW matches, you know what I mean? I don't know. So, Awesome, I wouldn't say that because Awesome had plenty of fucking stinkers. In fact, I watched one just today, him versus PN News. I've never seen a bad Little Guido matches. Never seen a bad one. Bobby Eaton, I'd certainly say. But no, because at the same time, Eaton gets a ton of fucking respect and love for the fucking Midnight Express.
The singles career was very good, too.
It was.
Even the stuff he did with Regal.
No, he was fucking
Dangerous
fantastic.
Alliance.
Dude, Bobby Eaton is one of my fucking all-time favorites. That guy is so goddamn good. But it's not like that guy doesn't get fucking praise and love everywhere. You bring up Bobby Eaton and people go, oh, Midnight Express, oh, Dangerous Alliance. You bring up Guido, people, I mean... Yeah, you do that.
You alright?
Would Jerry Lynn count as underrated?
Where are you?
Yeah, you know what? I would certainly say that Jerry spent years not quite being...
I'll talk to you later. I'm on the air.
Not quite being like at a top level, but I mean, Lynn was...
I never liked him.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people
I don't
do,
think
though.
he was bad. I just wasn't my cup
Right, you
of
weren't a fan of his style, but I completely get. But at the same time,
rave about him and RVD. I can't. I'm bored.
No, I love those matches.
I'm bored.
I just watched Lynn versus Just Incredible the other day. That was a great match. When he fucking finally won the ECW heavyweight title, that was a great match. But I'd say Lynn certainly deserves a bit. But people still talk very highly about Jerry Lynn. You never hear people talk about Nunzio, and it's crazy to me.
I don't know about that though, because a lot of people use Nunzio, or did when he was a little younger. He's global now.
But a lot of people use a lot of fucking guys. You know what I mean? You can't just say, like, oh, this guy get booked, then fucking he gets a lot of praise. You never hear people talk about how fucking great of a worker he was. Never. So Malenko certainly, I think, is somebody.
He gets praise.
Would you guys ever get Nunzio for a Warrior show? We've had him on multiple Warrior shows.
We've had him back.
He's not taking very many bookings at this point. He really picks and chooses his stuff.
Yeah, but he'll work for us.
Yeah, he will, because he's done it in the past. But he's worked for us multiple times. Check out the DVDs.
He was the King of New York. He was the one of the King of New York.
He was.
2 years ago.
In the match that I was in, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah. I wrestled him a bunch of times. I wrestled him in fucking Mama Luke. I wrestled him in a 4-way at Pro Wrestling Bam. I wrestled him, I think, that match.
Vito versus Chachi in that one.
Yeah, I had him in that 4-way match, and the fucking King of New York one.
Actually, I wrestled him too. When him, Damien, Nick Sabre versus the White Beaters.
No, work rate, but it was overall done with him. Bob Holly. I disagree in terms of Bob Holly. Because Bob Holly was just Bob Holly. Malenko, I'm seeing. Malenko, certainly. But again, Malenko, when people talk about the greatest technical wrestlers of all time.
Malenko gets a lot of.
Yeah, Malenko, I certainly wouldn't say he's underrated at all.
That's like saying Steven Regal's underrated. I think they're in the same boat.
Absolutely. They're guys who never were on top, but always get praise.
Yeah, no, I don't. Malenko, I could not see in that group.
Tracy Smother, that's your buddy. Joe's best friend.
I remember I asked Shamrock down in New Orleans. I said, let me ask you something. We're in Hooters. I said, is Tracy Smothers a tough guy? I said, ask him if you knew him. He goes, yeah, I know him. He goes, is he a tough guy? Because people are saying that Tracy Smothers could beat up Haku in a fight.
There's a lot of people who do say that, yeah, that's true.
So, Shamrock, I said, is he a tough guy? He's like, well, he's not a professional fighter, if that's what you're asking me. I said, no. I said, is he tough? He goes, it's like, So I
I don't know. Everyone speaks very highly